If you can't find it or whatever, you can just drop me a DM with your name and email and just say newsletter. You don't have to explain anything. Just say name, DM, newsletter, and you'll be in and getting the information on this as it gets rolled out. All right. So let's get to the information at hand. Let's first talk about the Annamaya Kosha as the yogic. By the way, this information comes from the yogic system. I give credit where it's due. I am not a member of the yogic system. I do not follow that system, but everything has gems within it that we can learn from. So I give that credit to the systems that have not only brought it out, taught it, but maintained it throughout the many hundreds, and in this case, thousands of years. Thousands of years. The first part of us is the obvious part we all get is the Annamaya Kosha, which is the physical body, which is referred to as the food body. That's what Annamaya Kosha means, food body, because the body is simply a gathering of all the things on the planet. It's a gathering of what the planet has to offer. This is just, you've gathered it all from the earth, from birth, and then you ate food which comes from the earth, and this is just an accumulation of all the food that you've eaten, consumed from the earth. And this is, I also like to refer it, this is just me, as the earth body. The earth body. Because of how it's brought in and how it evolves. Right? So this is very, very, very simple. So I'm giving you my knowledge, my information on it, and I also give you a bit of a definition. It is known as the food sheath and the earth element. Now they talk about the earth element in the different kinds, and the reason why and I understand why the yogic system chooses 5, because each of them represents an element. And in the ancestral course that I teach, I get into how the elements, just drop a little hint, get the course if you're interested, because little hints are not going to give you the knowledge you need. Each element is a part of our ancestry. I go into that deeply in the course. Right? It's sitting right there on the subscription, just to the right of it where it's got a star in the circle. You can get that course there. It's also going to be a course offered in the community that's now being built. So that represents the earth element very viscerally because it comes directly from the earth, right? And then we have the next level, which is called the Manamaya Kosha. So now you've got the machine, the hard top. I heard someone refer to it as the hardware, and I love that, and so I'll borrow that. This is like, just think of it as a computer. This is the hardware, right? And then you have the Manamaya Kosha, which is the mind, the mental, right? The mental side of us. That's the Manamaya Kosha. And that represents the water element. The Manamaya Kosha represents, according to the system, the water element. And so in these first two, the food body and the mental body, let's bring it from that to English, the food body and the mental body, that's where we're unique. I may not look like JC exactly, or look like, let's see who else is here. BMW 63, I might not look like some of you here because we're unique in that way. You and I are unique in that way. And mentally, you know, the way you think and the way I think might be a little different. Our minds might have developed in a different way. We're taught different things. So my mind functions a little differently than yours. We're unique there as well, right? And so that's where we're unique. When it comes to the third level, the prana maya kosha. So now you have the anamaya kosha, which is the hardware, and then you have the manomaya kosha, which is the software, if you could see it, of the computer. Now, all of that is just sitting there as dead nothing. If it doesn't have the energy to power it, it needs power. So you can have the computer, you can have the most sophisticated hardware, but if you don't have something to plug it in to give it power, you've got nothing. It's just a piece of plastic and metal sitting on your desk, right? So the third energy body is the prana, pranamaya kosha. Prana means life energy. This is the third kosha, or the third part. So it is the energy body. The energy body that makes it all go. Right? And so that energy body, that prana, even within it has different levels. There are different levels to prana. That is a live that I'm going to do on its own. So follow up with this, you guys. On Sunday, I'm going to dedicate that live to prana. Yes. An entire live to the breath. You believe that? Because there are 7 dimensions to prana. I believe 7? Yeah. 7 dimensions of prana. So it'll be too much to go through all of that here tonight. So we won't do that. We'll stick with the energy bodies, and which prana is one of. And prana means life force. So why is it important to know about all of these different layers of body? It's important because, first of all, it's teaching you about yourself, number 1. And number 2, when you are taking care of yourself, it is wise to know what it is that you're taking care of in order to do it properly, is it not? It is wise to get educated on what is going on within this system so that we can take care of it properly. Because you see, there is no book for it. All of the information is here, but it's here as in on the planet for you to properly take care of your body in every single way. But there is no incentive for something to be put in a way that you can do this, because everything here wants you to rely on it, to bend the knee to it. Come to me, you're sick, we'll go take care of you. You need all these systems, by the way. But it's turned into the point where these systems that we have here are built in a way to make you completely reliant upon them, and thus you lose your sovereignty, your ability to be the one who is in charge of what is going on within this system, within this body, within this mind, within the emotions, and the rest of it. Right? And you never want to lose that power or give it away, because it can't be taken, but you give it away. You can give it away. We don't want that. So the prana maya kosha represents, I correct myself here. Prana maya kosha is the water element, which doesn't make any sense to me. Manomaya kosha is the fire element. Right? So the pranamaya kosha is the water element, and the manomaya kosha is the fire element, according to the system. Papa G will get into a little bit more of it as we go along. The fourth energy body is the Vijnanamaya kosha, which is the intelligence, the intuitive, the intuition, the intelligence part of our being. So see how that's been separated in this system, in the yoga system, that's separated from the mind. So there's the mind, and then there is intelligence. Yes? Intellectual, intuitive intelligence, which I would also include wisdom. Wisdom. And this part is the air element. Air element. Right? And so in English, we put the mind and intelligence, and we loop it all in the same thing. And if you are into astrology, you know that the air elements, one of the things that they're always in their head. Air signs. They're always very airy. They're always very airy. They're very smart, but they have a lot of air, and they need to ground that with a little bit of earth, not too much. That's why I like the grounding that we do when we do our guided contemplation at the end of our lives, right? Because that contemplation gives, no matter who you are, no matter what your composition is, physically, energetically, and spiritually, it gives you the right amount of grounding. Not too much and not too little. Air signs should not be grounded too deeply into the earth. It kind of messes with them. That's why they often will do things like smoke. One of the things about smoking is that a lot of air signs will smoke because it gives them the right amount of grounding, because the smoke comes from tobacco, which comes from the earth, but it's been diluted a bit to keep them grounded in the right way, not too much, right? I knew someone who smoked. She was spiritually awakened. As a matter of fact, she was one of my major mentors, my Hermetics mentor. Fascinating human being, wise beyond belief. She smoked, and she always had kind of like, she'd pull a cigarette out, she'd smoke, she'd be like, I gotta quit this. And I looked at her, I said, you need to smoke. Have you ever heard someone tell you that? Especially Papa G telling you, you need to smoke. I told her, you need to smoke. I tell you why. Because you cannot be grounded. And you've talked about this about yourself. You cannot be fully grounded. You have to be. But sometimes the air can take you up here, and that cigarette brings you down to the level that you need to be so you can be here. So you need to smoke. Now, it's not going to be a problem for you. I'm not telling you to go smoke and it's harmless, okay? This is on an individual basis. And so Spirit told me to tell her, smoke. But whatever you do not have any guilt associated with it. Do not feel that it's going to cause you harm like everybody else says. Do not do that. If you take smoking and you're grateful and you smoke because you need it, and you're using it as a tool to help you balance out yourself here, and you use it as that kind of tool, as a helpful and healthy tool, you will not be harmed by it. This is for her. I was going to give her that information for her. So you see, this is why it's important to hear yourself. So you don't bring garbage in that does not apply to you, though it might apply to 90% of everyone else. Thank you, BMW 63. Right? Though it might not apply to 90% of the people, it applies to you. You see, so this is how Spirit can work with you if you don't have too many hang-ups. If you're not living in the land of good and bad and this, don't do this, don't, good and bad. If you have too much of that mentality entrenched within your mind, within the mental system, Spirit is going to have a hard time working with you because your mind is not a fertile soil for the truth. Notice I didn't say your mind isn't open enough, because that's a general statement. It doesn't really mean that much to most of you. Because then you could just say, my mind is open. I have an open mind. I'm known for my open mind. You see how the ego can just come in and shut that down with that statement, and then the person who said it can't say anything. That's why I'm very careful. A lot of time when I speak to people, I am very mindful of the ego, and I also speak beyond the person, the deeper levels of the person. Some of you have experienced that. I'll speak here and I'll speak to you, and the words will be surface, and then you get a deeper understanding that's beyond just the words that are coming out of my mouth. That is one of the gifts and talents that I have. My spirit is able to do that. It is my spirit that brings the talent. I just want you to be clear about that. It is my spirit. So my spirit has a fertile soil, and there are things that I need to till. There are still parts of that soil within my mind that needs to be tilled properly so spirit can use it. So I'm a work in progress as well when it comes to that. But if your mind has too many traps and contraptions on it, spirit will give you something and you'll go, oh no, that's horrible. And you'll invalidate it. And because you have free will, you've just invalidated a gem tossed to you by your own spirit. Because who else would tell somebody that they're healthy, it's healthy for them to smoke? Me, I would. If that's the information that comes. And you know what happened? You know what my mentor said? She said, I agree with you. Yeah, I know that. And of course I retorted, and why are you feeling bad about doing it when you know what I just told you is the truth? Because a lot of the time with her, I would say things to her and she would already know it. I would say things to her and she would already know it. She's just one of those people. And then the last one I'm going to talk about, then I'm going to get into the emotional body, because that's the one we need to really become very intelligent about. Because if we don't have a grip of the emotional body, it'll drag us to and fro, and then we'll miss out on how to really work with the system that is within. So those of you who are here, I get this question a lot as before I go through. How do I go within? Join the community and it will be completely demystified. Go to my profile, click in and click that and sign up for that newsletter. It's one of the best things you're going to ever do. Trust me. Right? How do I go within? Everything I'm talking about right now is within. Because you're not going to go, can you go somewhere and touch the and find out and take a look at and browse the rack to see what the anamaya kosha, the physical body, looks like? No, it's right here. You're walking around with it, in it. Are you going to go somewhere and browse around to find out where the manomaya kosha is, the mental mind? Nope, right here, inside. Are you going to go anywhere to find the prana? No, it's right here. Vijnana maya kosha. Are you going to go anywhere to find the intelligence, the wisdom that is within you? All right here. You got to go here to find it, right? You got to go here to work with it. You got to go here to become one with it. You got to go here to know it. Right? So just knowing this and working with this is the way you go within. That's how you go within. Because ascension, spiritual expansion, is an inside game, my friends. You're not ascending to anywhere out there. You're not going up to anything. That's the other kind of teachings. You know, they carry on the big fancy books telling you to drop the need to something. That's them. They do that. But if you want to expand spiritually and go beyond even what they can even imagine, you must go within. You must go within. because ascension is an inside game. It is actually a down and in game, not an up and out. It's a down and in game. The ascension process, what I like to call transcendent process, is a down and in game. Right? It's a down and in game. And the fifth kosha, the fifth body, is called the Anandamaya kosha, or the bliss body. This is what happens when you cultivate all of the other four. This is alchemy. This is the most important. People talk about alchemy, right? People talk about alchemy. What is the essence of alchemy? Turning lead into gold. Lead is considered the lowest metal, gold the highest. That is the essence of alchemy, right? But the most important alchemy is the alchemy of the inside game, the alchemy of the mind, the alchemy of taking all that is within you and alchemizing it and creating a being that is within you, yourself, that is transformational. You go to places and everything responds to you. That's because you've built and you've done the alchemy of the inner work, the alchemy of the inside, the most important one, the alchemy of the mind. That's the real alchemy, right? That's the most important one. They're all different kinds. There are those alchemists that work with metal. I think one of them is in this room. There's the alchemy of working with things on the outside, and then there's the inner alchemy, where you go to a place and the entire environment responds to you just because. You see yourself in everything, and when you show up, everything around you, nature, knows it. Because your presence introduces itself without any effort from you mentally. People who can see, they'll know it when you arrive. And you're not doing that so that you can arrive and be seen and all of that. You're doing it because that is why you're here. And it starts with knowing yourself. You're here, you come down here, you don't know who you are, you don't know why you showed up here, you don't know where you came from, and you don't know what you're supposed to do. And from that, you become that being. That's why you're here. And to help you along the way, the distractions are here too. Thank you, Kaisha. To help you along the way, the distractions are here too. To pull you away from yourself so that you realize that there's nothing better than what is going on within here. Because you notice everything tries to pull you outside of yourself. Put your faith in our politics. Put your faith in our institution, our medical systems, our schools, our religions, our churches, our traditions, and our culture. So when I say everything pulls you out, everything I've just mentioned, is it about you or is it about something else? It's all about something else. You being a part of something else. You can be a part of things, but never get consumed by them. You can belong to a culture. Totally good. Culture is good. This is why it's so hard and so easy to be consumed by them. Culture is good. Got a culture in your culture. You guys we like to dance. We like to eat certain foods. There's certain games and things that we like to do. There's certain things that we do in our culture that makes me feel so good because I've been doing it ever since I was a kid. Sounds familiar? Feels familiar? Because it's not about a sound, it's about a feel. Culture is about a feel, right? And suddenly, you're a part of the culture and you participate in everything in the culture. Why? Because that's what we do. And you mindlessly do the things that are really great about culture, and you mindlessly do the things that are stupid about culture as well. Because you're blinded, because you're consumed by all of it. So you want to be a part and participate in this system, but never be consumed by it. Be aware that the only reason why the culture exists is because of you. You don't exist because of the culture. The traditions, the culture, the institutions, and everything that tries to pull you away from yourself exists because of you, not the other way around. Always remember that. And if you can remember that everything exists because of you, then you will never get wrapped up with all the stuff that's out there. Though you can go dip your toes, have a good time, and then come back to self. That's what it's supposed to be like. It's not about hiding in a corner, being away from everything, not doing anything. No, it defeats the purpose of life. Enjoy everything in life that doesn't harm yourself and other people. And that includes future generations. If it does not harm you, not harmful to other people, and not harmful to the planet and future generations, what's wrong? But if it is, you don't do it. Even if culture says you do. Because here in the United States, we have a lot of culture. Different cultures, beautiful. All kinds of stuff. But we also have some negatives when it comes to culture, do we not? This country is a culture of war. Defend the country. Nobody coming over here to do anything. We don't have to defend freedom. Nobody coming over here to take it. And no one ever has. What are you defending? Right? No, it's just a face for people who make money based on murder, genocide, and a military and business industrial complex. You don't have to participate with that. That's the part of a culture that you can just go, not interested. But if you're blind, in this case, if you're blinded by patriotism, you'll participate in that culture. Because patriotism, as it is said one time, is the bastion of the despot. Meaning it is a tool to manipulate you into something you wouldn't normally do in your right mind. Nothing good about it. Nothing good about patriotism. Right? So we kind of digressed a little bit there, but I wanted to point out how you can be in this world. And people say not of this world. That's the dumbest thing, and it's actually not true. Your body comes from this planet and this earth. You're on the planet. I'm from planet Earth. I consider myself from everywhere. People say, "Oh, Papa G, are you from here?" I go, "Yeah, I'm from here. Yeah." And no doubt, I was born on planet Earth. I'm from here and I love it here because I know the spirit of this planet. And she is the kindest and nicest and sweetest. Take the nice part out because you guys know how I feel about that. And most wonderful being. Look what she gives us and does for us. Without asking anything. Look at all she does. No, I'm proud to be a part of that. I'm proud to be a part of my Mother Gaia's creation. And I will not participate in anything that belittles her or this planet. Sorry. I'm from Earth. And everywhere else as well. So when this body drops, where am I going to go if I'm from everywhere? That's how you must see it. Because then you'll be on this planet, as some of us are, and we'll curse the planet. We won't give a crap about it. We won't be great caretakers and destroy it, because maybe one day when we drop, we're going to go somewhere better. If there is somewhere better, the people over there ain't going to want anything to do with you because of how you behaved over here. They're not going to want that attitude and that energy being brought over there where you don't give a crap about where you are in the now, and you piss and poop and destroy it and curse it because you read about it in some book. Something is going to come down and take you to a better place, so you don't care about the place you're in. If there's a better place, the people over there ain't going to want nothing to do with you. Think about it. Would you want someone coming in who doesn't give a crap? You know, do you want somebody moving into your block that doesn't mow the yard, doesn't take out the garbage, leaves the house filthy, garbage everywhere? Do you want that in your neighborhood? No. Do you want that kind of neighbor living next to you? No. So if there's somewhere better, it's the same thing. They ain't gonna want you coming over there doing what you did over here, right? So before we get into the bliss body, I just went on a rant there. Before we get into the bliss body, let's go in. Let's see if anybody has any questions here. I don't want to miss anything. All right. I wish more people do this. Thank you, Miss K. More will, as we keep spreading the word, and you too. Because one of the things that I like about, and I'm going to keep talking about the community that we're making. One of the great things about that is it's much more easier. Like for you, Miss K knows, you just said, I wish more people knew that. Well, if you join the community, then you can invite others into a community that you know about, that you like, and that you like to share. And then that's how we spread things. And we all contribute. And we all become one. Because that's how it happens. That's how it happens. But you're right. I wish more people knew too. But men are destroying her, Tanisha says. Yeah, men have not done the greatest job. But those men have mothers. And what have their mothers taught them? So this, you see, the minute you point the finger, I want you to look at Papa G's hands, his right hand. You see two fingers pointing, right? Where is one pointing? One's pointing that way. Where is this one pointing? Back at Papa G. The minute you try to assign blame to something other than yourself, then you automatically put yourself in the category of blame. Right? So I don't disagree with you, but if you think that you don't have a hand in it, then that's where you should reconsider your position. All right. Thank you for your contributions. Even that, every contribution counts. So thank you all for that. So let's get to the bliss body. What is that? What is the Anandamaya Kosha? The bliss body. The one that everybody wants, but no one knows anything about. Nobody knows what the bliss body is. We only know what we feel like and what we experience within ourselves when we touch it. The bliss body, when you get into even bliss itself, what is bliss? Bliss is beyond happiness. It's beyond joy. It is just sheer, driven with sheer pleasure within yourself, orgasmic within yourself. That is bliss. That is what happens when you touch the realm of Anandamaya Kosha, or the realm of bliss. What is it? Nobody knows, because the description of it is not the thing. It is just a description. It's how someone feels. What is love? What does it look like? Anybody have a picture? And it doesn't count if you draw a heart, because that's what you learned from the day you were born. Do you know what love looks like? Have you seen it? No one has. We just know what it feels like, and we just know what it looks like when we see it in other people. Yes? Right. Oh, Special says, I just read the 7 stages of spiritual alchemy. Fantastic. I'm not familiar with that book. So I can't judge it. But anytime you're dealing with alchemy, and especially spiritual alchemy, it's always about this. And I say, if you can start to alchemize what is going on within you, you're on the right track. Right? So, Anandamaya Kosha, as the yogis describe it, it's an orgasmic feeling really beyond description. But when we're talking about orgasmic, I don't want you to get me wrong. It has nothing to do with the culmination after some good knocking of boots. It has nothing to do with the culmination of a sexual experience. This is a different kind of orgasmic. This is the one that lasts, because once you touch that, you have arrived at the highest point within this body. You have arrived at the highest achievement within the emotions, which I'm going to get to right now, because the emotions, they don't talk about it in the yogic system like this. Maybe they do in something else, but it is not one of the koshas, which is the bodies that compose who we are according to the yogic system. It is not one of the koshas, but if you want to alchemize, you better start with those emotions, or nothing's going to happen. You better start there, or nothing's going to happen, right? So that's the 5th kosha, the 5th body, right? So those of you who've just come, the first one is Anandamaya kosha, which is the physical body, or what is known as the food body, gathered over time as you consume things produced by the earth, and it represents the earth elements. This body represents the earth element, of which you have about 14% of. Then there is the Manomaya kosha, which is the mind itself, and it represents the water element. And the mind, the water element, represents about 70% of your physical being, right? And then after that, we have the pranamaya kosha. Oh, the pranamaya kosha represents water. I'm sorry, I'm getting it mixed up. Pranamaya kosha represents water, and the mental or manomaya kosha represents fire. So Anamaya kosha, earth element, Manomaya kosha, mental, fire element, Pranamaya kosha, the breath, which is actually not just the breath, but the life force. Let's call it that, because that's what it actually is. The breath is it's a very limited part of it. It is not the whole thing. Pranamaya kosha, which represents the life force, right, is the water element. And then you have Vijnanamaya kosha, which represents the intelligence, wisdom, intuitive wisdom. That represents the air element. And of course, Anandamaya kosha represents space element or ether. Let's now talk about the emotional body. The emotional body. Right? The emotional body, which when you're healing and working with someone, the emotional body is the thing that comes forward all the time. This is just my experience. Always comes up because that's where we hold on to things. The emotional body is responsible for your spiritual expansion. Where is the emotional body located? It has two locations. It's located in the subconscious mind, but very, very viscerally right here. The belly brain is the seat of the emotional body. The belly brain is not the emotional body. It is the seat of the emotional body. It is the room, if you will, where the emotional body lives. And so when we are spirit, when you're spirit, your spirit doesn't have emotions. Don't need emotions as a spirit. But you certainly need them when you're in a physical body. You have to have them. So they are there to be expressed. And in the expression of your emotions, you refine yourself. You refine your energies. And that is the doorway to alchemizing your being from within. It is through the emotions that you do that. So emotional intelligence is very important. And it's important to know what emotional intelligence is. Very important. Emotional intelligence is simply knowing what your emotions are communicating to you and following them to see where they lead you to. Because the reason why your emotions are the key to your spiritual expansion is because they will take you to exactly where you need to go to push the right buttons. Indeed, they do it all the time. Thank you, Versatoni Beauty. They tell you where to go. And so one of the most, I'm going to bring up a way that the emotions talk to you to tell you where to go, because every single one of you are going to be familiar with it. There isn't one of you in this room who are not going to know what I'm talking about. So that's why I'm bringing it up. When you get triggered, it simply means that you're not engaging with your emotional body sufficiently enough. I repeat, when you are emotionally triggered, that simply means that you're not engaging with your emotional body enough. So, when the trigger comes, it is your emotional body throwing a tantrum and yelling at you to get business done. So when you get triggered, the last person you should be looking at is the person who triggered you, because it's usually people that do it. And they have been simply sent there to wake you up to yourself. And you should, I know it's counterintuitive, because when you're pissed off and the source of it seems to be coming from what's in front of you, you want to kick their asses, don't you? But instead, what you should be doing is thanking them. Because they're simply listening to your emotional body and the universe. Because the emotional body is talking to the universe all the time. Send this thing over here to remind them that they're supposed to release that stuff they're holding on to. So the person comes and says the right things to get you pissed off. Because the universe is simply mirroring to us, every single one of us, what is going on within. And I know it's hard. Because we want to, well, I would never say that to a person. And that could be true. I would never do that to anybody else. How dare they do that? Right? We've all done it. Papa G, you, everybody, right? Who here has not done that? If you haven't done it, put in the comments. Something Divine Light 360. Yeah, we all have, right? Because we're in these bodies, and there's some shit sometimes we don't want to address them because we don't want to relive them and go through the pain that we did before, right? Yeah, we definitely have. We don't want to relive them, and that's a natural kind of reaction to things that are painful. So we don't want to put ourselves down, and I'm certainly not going to do that. But the emotional body then holds that for us. Let's say you went through something and you were 8 years old. You have no idea. You don't have the tools. Your parents didn't even have the tools to deal with it. So your emotional body worked with your brain and hit it down in here. Hit it down in there. Until, and the agreement was, we'll hide it there, and then when they get older, we'll bring it up so they can deal with it when they're able to. But then the time comes and we don't do it. And often it isn't because we choose purposely not to do it. It's because we don't know any better. And we engage in systems that irritate it. Like a lot of our mental health systems. They don't give us what we need to address it. And certainly, unless you're really, really looking to work on your emotions, work on your mind, when you do that, you'll find the stuff. But no one's going to just come up to you and say, hey, man, get some help. Let me help you. They'll just say, oh, that person's just an angry person. Oh, that person they fly off the handle all the time. Okay, I just had the puzzle piece. So people just go, oh, that person's angry all the time. Oh, that person flies off the handle all the time. That person has a rage issue. Some people, you can see it. And, or people go, oh, they just need to get some help. And it's your responsibility to know this. So when you get triggered, as I said earlier, it is because you're not paying enough attention and engagement with your emotions and your emotional body. So the minute you get triggered, you find out and you figure where that trigger is coming from. And even if you don't know where it's coming from, you know it's a trigger. You start engaging with the emotional body just by giving it the attention and speaking to it like I speak to it. Hey, man, I'm getting all these triggers. You know, I need to work on myself. Can you help me? You speak to your mind. You speak to yourself. Can you help me? I need, and the answers will come. Indeed, you're always creating answers for yourself, whether you're aware of them or not. The minute you make that decision and you have that conversation with yourself and you mean it, you're not BSing, you mean it, the help comes. All of a sudden, a book will show up on your TikTok feed. A person will come up. You'll go to a live and Papa Guru is talking about how to be in touch with your emotions, what true emotional intelligence is. That's true emotional intelligence. Engaging with your emotions and then dealing with the thing that they're pointing to. because the emotions are a communication device. They simply are communicating to you what is going on and where it is that that thing is happening. If you follow them, they will take you there. And then if you allow them, they will take the emotion, they will take the feeling. And if you allow them, they will take that feeling with them. And the belly brain will take that feeling and whatever is wrapped up in it and get rid of it. You simply need to sit there and allow it to do the job. And one other piece to it, if you're engaging in activity that's going to irritate or keep bringing that up, you need to stop engaging in it so that the emotional body doesn't have to deal with the trauma coming from it all of the damn time. What do I mean by that? If you, and I'll use this because everybody's familiar with this. If you are in a relationship and it's unhealthy, you can release all you can from what's going on with that relationship. But if you hold on to it, it's just going to keep happening. And that relationship is often a result of what is going on in here because it shows up in your life as the universe mirroring to you what is going on in your relationship so that you take care of what's going on here. And once you take care of what's going on here and you make it healthy in here, then that unhealthy relationship can't stick around because health and sickness cannot survive together in the same place at the same time. Right? So this is how things are mirrored to us. You have an illness. Now we can go to the computer and certain things are associated with certain spiritual situations. So you go, oh, okay. And the minute you look at it, you will know, oh yeah, I have this going on. Start working. And the work is to let go of it, get rid of it. Let go of it, get rid of it. That's the essence. Release it, let go of it, get rid of it, whichever term you want to use. That is the essence of what you want to be doing with your emotions. When they send you to a place, whether it be to a trigger or feeling that you get when you think of certain things, anger, frustration, why are you frustrated? How long has this kind of frustrated behavior been going on? Why? And sometimes you don't need to know the why. You just need to know it's there, and then you let this, because this is a brain. This knows why it's there, even though this might not. This knows. So if you don't know why, don't try to figure out why, because you'll be stuck in this brain and you're one step removed from healing, releasing, getting rid of all of that if you're up here. You need to yield to the one here, the brain here, and say, I don't know why that's going on. Maybe I blocked it out. It was painful when it happened when I was 2 years, 3 years, 4 years old. But can you please release it? And you know it's going because you'll feel the emotions, the feelings associated, and you'll feel them go. And that's a good thing. And so if it's anger, and you just, and you feel like crying, or you feel like hitting a pillow, don't hit the wall, because I don't want you to break your hand. Hitting a pillow, whatever you feel like doing. Or if you feel like getting in a certain position. Let me tell you something. When you are doing this kind of stuff, this kind of work, if you're working with us, because we here, Energy Flow, she's not here at the moment. We tell people you need to do whatever the body wants to do. Because the emotional body is holding it within the body. This is where it's being held in the Anamaya Kosha. So let's say you had an injury when you're a kid and it's real traumatic for you as a kid. You hold on to it. And suddenly, whatever emotion that just keeps coming, you don't even remember that it came from that. You might even remember having it, but you don't even know that that feeling you have is associated with that because it was so long ago. And suddenly your body feels like going into a certain position, but you ignore it. You don't do it. You let the body do it. Especially if you're doing work and you're releasing stuff. If you feel like doing a certain thing or leaning a certain way, or you feel like that and you want to really do it, because the body will try to mimic the same position it was in when you got the trauma, because it wants to release it in the same way. So you let it happen. You let it happen. You feel like sneezing? Don't do one of these. No, you're basically pushing it back. Your body wants to do something, and you're basically telling it to shut up. Do that sneeze loud. You feel like coughing? Cough loudly, and do it an extra 2 or 3 times after you feel you're done, just to make sure, because all of that's a release. Yawn till the cows come home, and yawn an extra few times just to make sure that the body has it all out. The release happens all kinds of ways. You might burp. You might fart doing it. That's why when you do this work, you can't be around people who don't know what the heck is going on or they're judgmental. A true healer will know what's going on and will tell you, keep doing it. Did you fart? Fart some more. Did you burp? Keep burping. And they might start burping too. I remember Energy Flow and we worked on someone. I don't remember. Anyway, we worked on someone. And they were having problems just releasing. And we had them here. They were in this chair, by the way. And we could feel that. I could feel like they just couldn't do it. So we helped them by doing it. I started to burp. And I knew it was because and once I started, and they heard me, and I was burping loud as hell because I didn't want them to feel self-conscious. Hey, if you're going to burp, we're all going to burp. Because that's just how the session went. And then they started burping and releasing. And I started burping and releasing. Because how the release happens, it happens how it needs to happen. So you want to be in a place where you're not going to be self-conscious. And usually, and in a place, if you're working with somebody, that person, if they're a healer, they're no. If they're a friend and you can confide in them and you want somebody to be with you, you let them know, I'm just doing this work and, I might do this, that, the other. It's all part of the healing process. I watched Papa Guru and he told me that that's a part of it. So yeah. Papa G told me that this sometimes happened. I didn't think so. I would try to sneeze and my body tried to sneeze and I would stop it, or I'd do one of these little, no, don't hold it in, you let it go. And the emotional body works like this until one day you get to a point where you've released it off. You have alchemized, because every time you release, you ask your spirit, yourself, to bring in its own energy to replace that stuff that you just got rid of. Because you don't want something else coming in that you didn't authorize. And you tell your spirit, bring in your own energy. And this is one of the ways you shift your frequency. Because those emotions, trauma, grief, anger, sadness, depression, are heavy. So when you get rid of them, you become lighter. That is one of the biggest things that we get from people in our sessions. Afterwards, they feel lighter. Yes, Dime. If that's what's happening, it's because sometimes when we're doing it, when we're in these lives, healing happens. Your spirit and your ancestors go, oh yeah. And everybody, you release it. You don't know if you have to be in an official healing with a healer for it to happen. Because this is the healer here. The healer is within you. It's not outside of you. So if you're ready to accept your innate healing abilities from within to go to work and you don't tap it down all the time, it'll do the healing like it's supposed to. Right? We know that exists. And by the way, it's not mumbo jumbo nonsense, because our medical community, I talked about this the other day and I forgot who was in there. Was it BMW 63? Someone was a nurse. I'm not sure if it was you. And I talked about the placebo. I think it was you, BMW 63. I talked about the placebo effect. Do you know when they do their drug trials, medical drug trials, for efficacy and to see if they work and all of that, one of the things that they look for is the placebo effect. Yeah, right? Yeah. BMW 63 confirmed it. She's a nurse. And if they don't get a good enough amount of the placebo effect, basically for those who want to know, the placebo effect is they give the real pill and then they give something that doesn't do anything, but it looks like the real one. And they give a certain amount of the test subjects the drug, and they give another set, and that set thinks that it's getting the drug, and all of a sudden they start healing. Because they believe they got something that's going to cure it. And because they don't have any doubts, the innate healer within them doesn't judge them because they think it's a pill that's doing it. It doesn't judge them. It goes to work because the barrier of disbelief and lack of trust has been removed. And a lot of them heal. They didn't get a lick of the drug. They got something fake. So every one of us has an innate ability within us, and our medicine and our medical profession rely on that. So why not just bypass the nonsense and start believing in the healer within you? So you don't, if you got a situation where you're holding on to, you'll know because your emotions are talking to you. You get frustrated in certain situations and things. You get triggered when certain things are said or done, or you're in certain situations. You get anxiety when certain things happen. Anxiety is simply your emotions telling you that this is something that is being caused by something else. So you sit down and you so you don't have to think about why you're anxious. See, this is what I want you to know. Do not think about where it's coming from, because this is not going to fix it. You can even know why you're anxious. Doesn't matter. Next time around, you're in that situation, you're anxious again because the healing doesn't occur here. It occurs here. You go, I'm feeling anxious. What do I need to do? Tell me. You sit quietly and you just give the belly brain time, and you'll get an answer, or things will start happening and you'll go, oh, okay. Thank you so much. You give it gratitude and appreciation, let it know, and then you give it permission. And then you might start feeling some things coming up. And whatever that release looks like, you do not judge it. If it looks like tears and you don't know why they're coming, let them flow. If it's a sneeze, a cough, a fart, a yawn, a shaking of the body, you let it happen and you don't judge it. Because sometimes the body will shake to get that energetic lump that's on it to chip off and flake away. You might have a leg wildly kick somewhere. I've had all this happen. I've done all the things that I'm saying here. It's happened with me. This body, in the healing journey that I've been on. When I meditate, sometimes I meditate and I stay still. I don't move. Nothing moves when I meditate. I'm still, just like this. And I'll be here at the beginning like this. And when my eyes open, I'll be in the same spot. But sometimes I could feel the stomach pop things off. You're just getting rid of subtle things that you don't even know they're there. Because once you start working yourself, if you go deep, 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 deep enough, you can't feel the little things that are there anymore. And you go into meditation, and one of the things meditation does, you don't expect anything. You just meditate for meditation's sake. You don't do it for anything. Just an aside. And you'll feel, and every once in a while, my arm will do one of these on its own. It's just flaking off things that might have been there from 50 lifetimes ago. It goes deep and it just removes it. This is all new to you, Keisha? Fantastic. That's why we're here. We're here to learn from each other. So the emotional body is very important. Notice that when I said emotional intelligence, I didn't talk about all kinds. There's more, but there's more. You can become even more emotionally intelligent. There are books that you can get. But don't listen to people when they talk about emotional intelligence. You need to research that or information gather for yourself. A lot of the inner work books, I have a book called Inner Work, the Shadow Work book. They're inadvertently working with your emotions. When you do shadow work, that is an emotion thing. You're beginning the alchemizing process. And then there's different levels to the emotional intelligence. Don't listen to other people, because most people that talk about emotional intelligence have no clue what they're talking about because they haven't done the work. Not because they're stupid or anything like that, because they haven't done the work. So I'm saying that so you don't go following these people. Because I hear a lot of people talk emotional. I hear people, I wish that person was more, I wish my boyfriend. It's usually women talking about men. It's, because women are much more in tune with their emotions than men are. Emotional intelligence is just the same on both sides. Women are not more emotionally smarter than men. They're more in tuned. More in tuned. Definitely more in tuned. But to become emotionally intelligent, you actually have to do something. You're not born with it. You actually have to study it. It's not hard because you're studying what? The self, aren't you? You addressed 3 things I've been dealing with in the past 48 hours. Thank you. You're welcome, Yolanda. Thank you for letting me know. We're all here, like I said a little earlier, for each other. You see? Because, Yolanda, you have been asking for this help. And you're the one that brought it to yourself. Because if folks, for those of you who have never heard me say this before, and I repeat a lot of things because they're important. Nothing wrong with saying them again, because sometimes if you hear them once, you forget them, you hear them twice. In advertising, they expect to show you something 6 times because it takes an average of 6 times before someone makes a purchase. In this case, it takes an average of 6 times of someone hearing something before it sinks in. It's just a natural, especially today when we are bombarded with information all the time. 6 times. So you go out when you even if you say, man, I want to do something about it. I'm sick of it. Boom. An aspect of you goes out into the world because there's more to you than just this and brings the answer to you. And the answer doesn't show up as, oh, here, you need this here. No, it shows up and Spirit brings it as you see a book, you turn to a live, and there the person's talking about the very thing, like you just said. That's how the answers come. And it's all brought to you by yourself. This is why we must make ourselves available for the assistance of other people. Not because we think other people need stuff and all of that, but just because we want to share, because that's our spiritual passion and our purpose. It's my purpose, my passion and my purpose, both the same thing. Because then people will naturally gravitate, because we're all connected There's a 6 degrees of separation. Now it's even less. I'm 2 people away from you, Yolanda. I know somebody who knows somebody that knows you. That's how small the world's coming and getting. But on an energetic level, there is more to you than that, even. And aspects of you that you're not even aware of go out and they do things to serve and help you. And this is how you help yourself. That's why I always say, you want something, talk to no one else other than yourself. You want to ask and find out something, talk to no one other than yourself. And maybe you talk to some other people, but even then, be very careful who you talk to, because you don't know what kind of thing is going on in their mind, and all of a sudden, they energetically put a little poison pill in your desires. It's always best to talk to yourself. And then be mindfully aware for the answers when they come. I say mindfully aware. Hey guys, I got a question for you. When I say mindful aware, mindfulness, what do you think of? Just a couple of questions there. By the way, some comments in the live were filtered. So if you were asking a question and you're not getting an answer, it's because TikTok filtered it. If you're asking a legitimate question and you're not trolling, yeah, it's because TikTok filtered it, okay? Shadow work is an emotional roller coaster. Yes, it is in the beginning. And so you keep doing it, Keisha, because you're working with the emotions, and it's a roller coaster, because where they're pointing you to, it takes a roller coaster to get there. And you just keep releasing, and it makes it will make it easier. Nature has answers to smoothing it out and leveling it out for you. Find a tree as a friend, and when you're feeling that certain way, you go to the tree, and if you can take your foot off and put it in the dirt and touch the tree and just become friends with it. Just don't go there when you when you need help, because they're beings just like us. You go there and you hang out with it. If it's a tree you pass by, hey, you say hi. 10 seconds, you acknowledge it, boom. And then when you need something, that tree is going to be there for you. That in the guided contemplation, which I know you've done many times, when you connect to the earth and you do the heart looping thing, do that. But you want to do it again every day just to connect with your heart with the earth. Don't do it as a ritual. Don't do it because it's okay, today this is what I do in the mornings. No, because then that becomes ritual. And it's not, if you had a friend and they just came over to your house every Tuesday because it's ritual, and, there was no heart behind it. There was no caring behind it. There was just emptiness behind it. You wouldn't want that. So our planet doesn't want that. Our tree friends don't want that. If you just showing up for that reason, just pull away, don't do it. And then just get into the heart space and then do it. If you don't feel like doing it one day, don't do it. You don't feel like doing it. But regularly, you're communing and connecting with all aspects of you, because everything that you see is an aspect of yourself, including the trees. Including the trees. Is it better to speak to ourselves out loud? It's Janelle, as long as you're doing it. As long as you're doing it. You could do it softly, or you could do it in your mind, or you could do it loudly. I tend to talk to myself loudly because that's just how I do it. But if you talk softly and the voices in the head distract the conversation, you need to be a little louder. Be a little louder. Be a little louder. Conscious. Tina Bina, how you doing? Good to see you here. Again, Uh, I mentioned earlier, if anybody, what you think of when you think of mindfully aware, and you Tina Bina says conscious, BMW63 says intuitive. All right, being aware, to be aware, mind is full. Yeah, one of your one of your comments are filtered. Yeah, they filtered it. You guys know sometimes there's no rhyme or reason why TikTok filters a comment. It could be a completely benign comment. What you do is you just reword it, look at a word that might be a little bit, take that word out, substitute it, and put it in again. In the now, says JC. Being self-aware of your thoughts and taking time to respond instead of reacting. Janelle, yeah, all of your answers, I'm glad, because this educated me. Because you know what? I'll be honest with you, I thought most of you would say meditation. But a lot of you, being conscious, yeah. That's the right answer. Intuitive, yeah. Being aware, yes. To be aware. Mind is full. In the now, it is. All of those answers are correct. Janelle's answer, being self-aware of your thoughts and taking time to respond instead of reacting, is also great. When triggered, I say to myself, I know who I am. All right. So you see, even that, as Tina Venus says, she has something that she does to bring her back to herself when she gets triggered. She has something that she does. She isn't flying off the handle and she has something that she does, which is a very good tactic, by the way. Yeah, mindfulness. That's what it means to be aware of your surroundings and such. Mindfulness is often associated with meditation, believe it or not. I don't know why. Because in meditation, you're trying to empty the mind. You're not trying to fill it up. But yeah, you'll hear, it sounds like something developed in the West, not something developed in the East. Because you certainly don't want to have your mind full. You're not trying to empty your mind. You're not trying to do anything. You simply aren't engaging with your mind. You simply are not engaging with your mind. But you want to be mindful when you're in the beta state, this state that we're in. You want to be mindful. You want to be mindfully aware of what's going on. Because the answers that you were looking for, you may miss them. Now, here's the great thing about you, about yourself. The part of you that they go out to work and do things for. If you miss it, they keep bringing it. Until you get it. As long as you're breathing, whatever it is that you need will keep coming. And that's why being mindfully aware in your everyday life is so important. So that when the answers come, or when the hints come, you go, oh, okay, cool. That's what I was looking for. And then once you grab a hold of that and you implement it and you do something with it, more comes. The next step comes, the next levels. And then once you really get to the point where you deal with it, there's always a gift behind it. For every shadow, behind every shadow, there's a gift. Behind everything that you need to work on, when you work on it fully, truly, and follow it all the way thoroughly through, there's a gift behind it. It truly is. I screen recorded one of your past lives and watched it on the airplane. Help me with my anxiety. Oh, really, Urban Dreamer? Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. I'm glad I could be a calm in the midst of your anxiety. Yeah, a lot of people get anxiety on a plane. Yeah, a lot of people get that. So I'm glad I was able to help with that. Grateful for this talk. grateful to have you here too, Tina Bina. Tina Bina, me and Tina Bina have been TikTok friends since like 2021. I think, right? Football life. How are you? Unknown, yes. Football life. Peace. They come in different ways too, huh? Yeah. Yeah, even some of our books, like for example, I'll mention this book. By the way, those of you here, I'm not a Bible person, not religious or anything like that, but I grew up as a son of a Pentecostal minister. Even the book that says the Lord works in mysterious ways. If you read that book from a perspective of one who isn't brainwashed, you'll see the answers that are in it. Who is the Lord? The Lord is actually the one that is within you, that is also you. That's who the Lord is. It's not anything up there. It's not anything that lords over you. Okay, because I don't believe in all that lording stuff, right? From the feudal days when the lords would order their serfs around and give them just enough food to survive so they can work and till the fields for nothing. Okay? That's a lord. All right? And so the Lord works in mysterious ways means whatever is going on within you, the one that is within you, that serves you, works in mysterious ways. So when you said that it comes in different ways too, yeah, Gaul, exactly. The answer is yeah. Oh, I knew what you mean. I knew what you meant. I know what you meant, Gaul. Couch potato me. Are you? Oh, no. Okay. All right. So we talked about, for those of you who've just come, I'm going to do a quick synopsis really quickly. And so you know how we got to the emotional body. I talked about the koshas, which are in the yogic tradition, very knowledge beyond belief in that tradition. They have the 5 bodies that we hold, and there are 5 bodies to match the 5 elements, right? The first body is the Annamaya kosha, which is the physical body, and Annamaya kosha literally means food body, because this is just simply a gathering of all that we have collected from the earth in the form of food in particular, right? So that's the Annamaya kosha, the physical body. Then you have the Manomaya kosha, which is the mental body. And so if you think of a computer as one of a guru in India refers to them as, if you think of the physical body as the hardware, then the mental body is the software, and so you need to give it quality power, and that's where pranamaya kosha comes from. Manomaya kosha represents the earth element, because everything is a representation of you. Manomaya kosha, the mental, is the fire element, right? Pranamaya kosha, which means the life force that powers this, is the water element. You're 70% water, 14% earth, 3% fire. And then there's the Vijnanamaya kosha, which is the intellect, intelligence, wisdom. And that is represented by air. We're about 6% air. And then, of course, the Anandamaya kosha is also known as the bliss body. And that represents space or ether. Each of these is very, very easy. The mind, all that is very easy to comprehend. But the bliss body has never been seen by anyone and cannot be explained. It's just that when people touch it and they're in this utter bliss, they can describe how they feel and the experience. But the feeling and the experience of the thing is not necessarily the thing itself, right? So the finger that is pointing is not the thing that it's pointing to. So we reach the maximum of our emotional fulfillment when we can touch the bliss body. And when you touch the bliss body, your emotional state, as they describe it, this is the word that the yogis used, the true yogis, who are on all the different aspects of the yogic system. They call it an orgasmic feeling in existence. And it has nothing to do with a sexual culmination. It is a different kind of orgasm and feeling. And so once that feeling is reached, then life is never the same again, and the emotions are truly in full service to you. You have alchemized to the ultimate while you're in this life. And so they do not talk about the emotional body within the yogic system in the way that they do the other 5, the koshas. But I do, because in my experience as a healer, I've encountered the emotional body so many times, including from within myself. And so you must work with the emotional body, because that is the seat of your expansion. And the seat of your expansion is here. So your emotions are not the belly brain, because this is it, the belly brain. The belly brain is simply the place that the emotional body is in. And the emotional body's job is to point to you where things are without judgment. If you are an ecstatically joyful person, the emotional body is pointing to where you are. And if you like where you are, then you know you want to stay there, because the feelings tell you that. The feelings. If you carry sadness, depression, anger, and you live in them, all of these things are necessary. Negative emotions, as we label them, aren't necessary. They are. Here's the thing. If you don't remember anything, just know that they are simply communication devices. But with the negative emotions, such as the ones I've just mentioned, you do not want to live in them. You just want to visit because you have to, because you got to know something. And then once you take care of business, you go right back to the higher level emotions and feelings. You don't deny the one. You don't do the love and light thing where you don't want to hear anything bad. You don't want to feel bad. You don't want to hear. No, you don't do that. You just go, whichever emotion I need to be in at this time, I'm going to be in it. And if it's not joy, love, happiness, fulfillment, all these other things, I'm not going to live in them. But I'm certainly going to use them because they're important. Right? And so I also talked about when you are emotional intelligence, and I defined emotional intelligence as being in tune with your emotions, being in alignment with them, listening to them. Let me change it because that's too many words. Knowing your emotions and following where they take you. That's emotional intelligence. Knowing your emotions and the feelings that you have, and then following them to where they take you. So if you have this, let's say you have this situation that happens to you, but you don't know why. Not important to know why, because knowing why is this happening to me, is in this brain. We want to yield that to this brain. When it comes to how you feel, it's this brain that knows why, even if this one doesn't. This one. And so you simply yield to it by sitting down in a place where you say, I want to let go of this. And then you allow this to happen. And so you want to be in a place where you don't have all kinds of people running around. You don't have, you want to be in a place where you are not disturbed. Because if anything comes up, you want to be able to release it. Let it go. Chuck it out. And what the emotions do is they with the direction of this brain, because this is the first brain, my friends. This brain develops first, then this one in the womb. From this brain, you get the neurons for this brain. This is the first brain. Right? And you just let it do its stuff. And then the emotions, whatever it is, the one that you experience, will direct it to go directly to wherever it is within you. And those emotions then take the feeling with them. And if you allow it, it will guide them right out of the body. You don't have to know why it's there. As a matter of fact, it's often important not to know why, because then you don't want to re-experience it. A lot of people shy away from shadow work because they believe they have to experience the bad stuff. No, you don't have to re-experience any of it. You simply need to know that that feeling's there. Doesn't need to be there. It needs to go, and allow this brain to let it go without rationalizing with this one. And you let it go. And you let it go. Those of you over here, if you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, do so. You just simply go to the profile, you click the link, and boom, right there. The newsletter will pop up. Because we don't know what's going to happen with this app. And go there, or you can alternatively, you can DM me and just put your name and your email and just put newsletter, and I'll know exactly what it is. I'll respond back, got it, so you know I got it, and you'll be in the newsletter. Just like that. Grateful for this thought. I read that already. Thank you, Jazzy Julie. All right. Seeking closure from a situation, Eri. And then we'll go right into our guided contemplation. You make everything sound so easy. Yes, it's simple. It might not always be easy, but it's simple. It really is. That's actually one of my abilities to take really count, because when we talk emotions, who here considers that a complex subject? How to deal with emotions, anxiety, depression, sadness, fragmentation, resentment, anger, fear, stress. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Delia Burns at hotmail.com. Delia, that's not my DM. But I'll put you down, okay? Let me write that down, because it disappears right after the live is over. I'm gonna put it in my notes here. Delia, I somehow think you're already in. So if you didn't get our last newsletter, check the spam. Notes. Delia Burns. Okay, got it. Thanks. So the first thing with closure is, oftentimes closure is equated to, I'm not saying it equates there. Oftentimes closure, and then we'll go to a guided meditation. Oftentimes closure is associated with another person. And so the problem that poses is that that person may not be around, number one. Number two, that person may be dangerous and unhealthy for you. So you do not need anybody's permission to heal. So what you do is you go through the healing process, because oftentimes closure and forgiveness cannot occur if you have not healed from the situation. So you need to allow the healing to occur. Whatever means you need to do to heal from it. And once the healing process is finished and you put no timeline or date on it, you let it take its course, because it is the emotional body that's going to do the healing. And so while the emotional body is doing the healing, do not put yourself in a situation with anything that even remotely would bring that back in any way, shape, or form. And you sit down on a regular basis, talking to your emotional body, giving it a break from anything that would repeat the situation. Because if we just let the emotional body do its job and we do nothing, it automatically will heal our emotional stuff. What happens is we keep traumatizing it and keep adding stuff on top of it, on top of it, on top of it with our lifestyle. And then the emotional body can't even keep up, because we keep just doing stuff to ourselves or allowing it to happen to us. And then it has to bury stuff, and it doesn't even have to have time to heal. It's just trying to put stuff somewhere. But if we give it time and we give it a break, we don't get into a relationship 2 days after we finish the last one. We don't keep traumatizing ourselves with the people that we're hanging around with. We don't keep doing the things that keep bringing us pain and suffering. And we relieve ourselves from that. The emotional body will automatically start to heal on its own without us doing anything. The stuff I'm talking about is doing extra to make the process better. It'll just do it. Thank you, Jen. And so you want to heal. So the point is, you want to heal. And then once you heal, closure will naturally occur, because none of that shit that you're seeking closure from will matter. And once it doesn't matter, you could remember it every day. It doesn't matter. That's where you want to get. You want to get to where these situations that cause us pain and suffering get to the point where they no longer matter. They have no grip on you at all. That's when you know you've healed from it. Okay? Okay. All right, you guys, let's get to our guided contemplation, right? And this is a chance. If you're here and you're seeking and you want to put the belly brain to work, because we do it all the time here, this is where you can start your healing process. Like I said, you just need to give permission to this guy and just sit and quietly say, I'm ready to heal, in this guided contemplation with Papa G and all these lovely people and their energy. And then you just allow the thing to happen. This is the perfect environment for that. But in this guided contemplation, There are layers to it. If you want to heal, you can do that. But this is where we put our minds and the power that we carry around with us all the time, that most of us are not aware, into action. Simply because your mind is powerful enough to change world events. And so the way we do it is really simple. You right now start to set your intention, and this is the guideline. Think of something that you want for yourself and that you want to accomplish for yourself, and make an intention of it on it. And number two, think of something that you want in the world and intend for that thing to happen in the world. That's it. That's all you got to do. If you're not sure about what it is that you want for yourself or the world, just leave it to your higher self, the higher mind. It's just as good. Even better, because it's out of the world of the land of the duality. Right? And the only rule is no harm to yourself, no harm to others. And the other rule is it must be for your highest good and the highest good of all, because this is where the planet is going. So we want to be in line with her in that way. So I'm going to set an intention that we're all participating in. You don't have to think about it. We're all doing it because it's for everything. And this intention, arching intention, you don't have to think about anything here. I'm just telling you the overall intention that goes in with this meditation automatically, as some people would say, is for unity conscious to flow across this planet for every single being. Unity conscious to flow across the planet through you. Because when we were once all united, we were unstoppable. We became the thing that that was the crowning glory of what was going on for a very, very young race of beings in this universe. And we're going to get back to that. We're getting back to that. It's already started. The unity consciousness. And within it, as the ultimate consciousness of spiritual growth, expansion, and a planet that will be unrecognizable 100 years from now than it is today, and in the best way. Not the dystopian bullshit that we see in these sci-fi movies. Okay, so let us start. And the first thing you want to do, because you want to connect that belly brain, that emotional seat, it has roots. And so all you do is just imagine those roots going down through your thighs, down the legs, and traveling down to connect to the earth. And if you're in a high rise with people below you, just with your intention, send those roots to the side and down. You don't want to be connecting through people's energy field. Send them down. And then after you send them down, you just let the magic happen. You don't have to do anything else. It will automatically connect on its own. Because once you set that intention, it already knows. The intelligence here already knows what that's all about, even though the one up here may not. Now, the next thing you want to do, because this is working with the heart, the brain in the heart, and the brain in the stomach. This is where the work is being done. So we're going to connect the brain and the heart with the heart of the planet. And you do that by imagining a line coming from your heart, curving back around and coming back, connecting with the heart of the planet, coming back, reconnecting from the rear of your heart back, making a full loop circuit, heart to heart with Mother Gaia. Now, I want to clear this, energetically clear this space, this virtual space, so that only the energies that support every single person here are allowed. No vampiric energy allowed. No energy that is non-benevolent and not good for all involved. Only the most benevolent energy and only the energy that is for the highest good of all is allowed here. Full stop. And so what we're going to do now is ask the divine to connect with us. And you do that by going within, because the divine is nowhere else within you. And we also connect to the universe, the divine in the universe, connecting with the divine inside of us and with spirit. And now we're fully connected. And we invite all of the inner children to participate with it. The inner child within each and every single one of you, and the collective inner children. So we join hands, if you can imagine that. And so the first thing we want to do is to cleanse and clear our energy fields. Every single one of the bodies that we talked about, including our auric field, of anything that is not in our highest good, and to be replaced with that which is. And we go to the body in every single cell, and we let them know that we're all a part of the team, and anything that needs to be released, let it be released in the most benevolent way possible. And so we begin with placing our intentions into the reality. We bring up any agreements, bonds, vows, or anything that would stand in the way of these intentions that we've set for ourselves. And we transmute them and change them into an energy that the divine can use to support our intentions and whatever is in the highest good. We do spiritual jujitsu around here, and we change anything trying to interfere, interrupt, impede, or stop. We turn it into an energy that works in our favor, because that's how we do it here. And we also will not accept any retribution or actions for ending patterns and behaviors and activities that do not serve us, those directly or indirectly connected to us, humanity, and this entire planet. For we come to her in love and gratitude. Love and gratitude. Love and gratitude. And we place these intentions for our own benefit and for the benefit of all life. And we also come to heal so that we can raise our frequency and shift our vibration to be in line with the transcendent process going on here on planet Earth. And that includes any and all things, including those things directly or indirectly related. And we do so on every timeline and temporal location, every dimension, level, realm, density, or reality, on every planet, infinite verse, multiverse, omniverse, universe, past, present, future, and we include any and all dimensions, included mirrored or altered ones. And we declare that this be done through all time, no time, anti-time, subtime, all space, no space, anti-space, subspace, and that all emotional trauma, baggage, or feelings that are ready to leave, that we allow them to flow. And if you feel them flowing, just recognize them and allow them. No matter the feeling, you must feel it to heal it, and let it go. And you don't have to worry about where it came from, why it's there, all of that. For if you're in that state of mind, you're one step removed from the healing process. Just drop back into your heart by just feeling gratitude. Gratitude is a heart-based emotion. So when you're dropped into a heart-based emotion, you're in the heart. Drop back down to that so that the healing process can continue for you. And we set our intentions out for the benefit of ourselves and all else in the most benevolent way possible. And if those of you are familiar with this and you feel like participating, I'm going to sing the O Oponopono. O Oponopono. O Oponopono. O Oponopono. O Oponopono. This great mantra gifted to us by our Hawaiian brothers and sisters. And it is a healing energy that has been gifted to us through them from our universe. From our universe. And this is a very powerful energy. And it simply means this in our language. O Oponopono means, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I thank you. I love you. I'm grateful. And this has wrapped within it tremendous healing energy. And it heals from within. And it's for you. When you heal yourself, you heal all else. You heal the self and you heal everything else. O Oponopono. O Oponopono. O Oponopono. Now, from the sovereign authority of our core inner beings, we declare any of the facets and aspects that were named, and we also include those that were not, and we declare anything that is not of the highest good fully, completely, and thoroughly null and void. And we do so for any agreements that we've given permission to, whether we did so knowingly or unknowingly, willingly or unwillingly. We also invoke the return to rightful owner clause, bringing back all the energies that we've put into systems, situations, circumstances on other people that have not contributed to our highest good. That energy is yours, and it will be returned to rightful owner according to your higher self. And those who are in possession of it, let them be sent up to the divine for healing, whether they be physical, non-physical, energetic, spiritual, astral, or any other kind. Let them be sent now to the divine. From the sovereign authority of our, notice I said our core inner being, that means you and all of us, we declare any of the previous we dissolve, dispel, and disintegrate from every level and plane of our being, all related imprints, implants, overlays, cords, belief systems, self-perceptions, self-beliefs, feelings and emotions that do not serve, and any other system, energy, or frequency recorded. Let this be done for the highest good of all, with divine harmony and divine timing, and the most benevolent outcomes possible. And so it is. Now, if some of you are still in this, in the mode of the clearing, you do not have to come out just because I've completed. You let your spirit, your spiritual team, your ancestors keep doing their work for as long as needs to be done. Even that belly brain, if you're releasing, do not stop anything. You continue to do so until its completion and conclusion. Okay. Thank you all for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you, JC. You're welcome. Thank you all for being here. And just so you know, I'll be back 10 a.m. on Sunday, Pacific Standard Time. You're welcome, Alex. Great to have you here again. Really, Beck, great to see you again. You're welcome. Shalom, Delia. Y de nada. All right. Peace to you as well, Tina Bina. Good to see you again. If any one of you had any experiences you'd like to share during the guided contemplation, feel free to do so. It's great to help others, especially those who've experienced it for the first time. For those of you who've just joined, you missed the live, it will be on my YouTube channel. Sometimes I break it up. So it'll be one live and I'll break them up. I'll break it up. But if you've missed it, you can check it out on my YouTube channel. I'll be uploading it in the next couple of days. All right. You guys, I'm going to be calling it quits if there are no other questions. It's a little late here I know some of you it's later. Emotions equal energy in motion. Exactly. When the wave of energy comes, I'm ready. Thank you. Thank you as well. All right. Once again, thanks to all of you for being here. Again, it was another great night. And if there are no more questions or commentary, I'm going to say sayonara as they do in Japan. How do you say goodbye? Anybody here speak Swahili? I say that because at this time of night, it's daytime for a lot of people around the world. Like I said, if you missed the live, it's on my YouTube channel. Or it will be in the next couple of days. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you to UJC for moderating tonight. Doing a great job as usual. And I want to thank all of you for joining in and making this a possibility. You guys have a great night.